Hi, welcome back to the channel Shop Titans. Today I'm going to share with you the life cycle of a busy shopkeeper. Busy as a bee. Um, Normally, you would need to buy those T1 and T2 from a market so you can buy and fill up the shop. But for me, normally I would craft it myself because I really can craft them within seconds. So that's what I do. So we look at number one, I'll fill up my shop with T1 really fast. I can do it with a couple of minutes, the whole shop is filled. But the problem is there'll be superior quality or even higher quality T1s created, and that is a trouble for me because I don't want this king to set eyes on them. And what I gotta do is really get rid of them fast before the king arrives by selling them in the market. And you gotta say that how much should I sell it for? I mean, if you go by the market rate, sometimes you can get 10 times of the base of the T1. But do you really want to waste time to get that couple of dollars? No, right? I mean, you got more things to sell. You got millions of dollars of items to sell. You wouldn't be bothered about $30 or $100 difference. So just sell them at dirt cheap to get rid of them. And then eventually, when the kings arrive, enjoy those millions of passive income from him. Alright, now enter into the gameplay. As you can see, my shop right now is quite empty. I've been filling up my shop normally with T6 items. As I mentioned in my previous video, it is to generate energy because when I do discount and small talks, I could then craft those rune stones really fast. Those T7 rune stones now are getting a bit pricey. About 20 over 1,000 a piece, and that makes my profit margin thinner. So I thought, why not take the opportunity to fill up my shop with those T1s. You can see here I'm crafting 3 pairs of superior helmets. It's all because I've been ascending them to 3 stars. So what's happening is that if you ascend them, you keep on crafting really high quality T1s at the same time really fast speed with minimum resources. Alright, you can see me crafting really a lot of those T1s, and the problem arises when I hit those superior flawless quality. You may be wondering why, because wouldn't everybody like high quality items? Not for me, because these are T1, not T9. So what's the problem with that? Because I have this VIP corner that is only catered for the king, basically out of reach from the normal commoners customers. So I'm only hitting on the king, who would pay me 5 times of the base price. So what I meant is that I have those T9 waiting for him to collect, and he's gonna pay me millions of dollars. I don't want him to come in to get a leather boots and pay me $500, right? So that's the problem. I need to get rid of all these superior quality items that I've crafted, all these T1s, and they are really generating fast in terms of high quality and quantity. That is a dilemma, right? I mean, you want to fill up your shop, but you don't want those high quality items because you just want to get rid of all of them. Of course, there's a shortcut to this, which is you lock up all the items. You can see you can basically lock them up. But apparently I wish to get rid of them just in case I miss it and the king arrive. I'll be losing millions of dollars for the day. So the question is, should you sell the T1 superior quality and higher quality items in the market for the reasonable price? So for example, most of the time, these quality items people will sell at 10 times of the base, which is not a lot, assuming $90 selling for $900, right? So people will pick it up, but slow. For me, I don't care about this hundreds of dollars because I'm only bothered with millions, right? So I would basically advise you to sell them as low as possible in the market so they can just fly off the shelf and give you back this available market slots, right? So those are precious market slots that you have that's supposed to sell hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of items, and not this hundreds of dollars or $1,000 items. So I'm just going to show you a sample, right? So if I'm going to sell it 10 times the price, just take a look at this. All these flawless items I'm selling 10 times of the base. You see how slow they move off the shelf. So if you have this precious market slots that you have, and you insist on selling at the so-called the reasonable price, yes, you could of course get the reasonable price, because people will still pick them up because there are many players. Some players have just recruited new recruits, and the new recruits will need all these items. You can easily sell them for a few $1,000s, but it takes time. Vis-a-vis, if you sell it at dirt cheap, you can actually just momentarily just release those items in the market, and they just sell it off instantly. So that's what I mean. Do not insist on getting the reasonable price for these T1s. In the first place, you are crafting them to feel as so-called energy generator. You can easily craft them within seconds, and you can get the same quality items time and again. So do not bother with that tens of dollars or hundreds of dollars. Just get rid of them in the market as fast as possible, so you can go back to your routine of selling those hundreds of thousands or $1,000,000 items in those market slots. Alright, can see that the two superior quality items get rid of it really fast. That's the flawless items. You can see me trying my best to sell them at difficult prices. Basically trying to be difficult, selling 10 times. And I can tell you that even if I go back to the market later on, maybe 1 or 2 pieces got sold, but not all. But eventually, what I'm going to show you later on is that I'm selling it dirt cheap and just fly off the shelf. So that's what I mean. And of course, after getting rid of them, you will wait for the kings to arrive, right? So just take note, if the king stepped into your shop, you saw him walking in, you better go and check your inventory and get rid of all the superior items in the market. If not, you better lock them up. Alright, so that's the tip for you. And then what's next after the king left? You go back to your crafting, of course. That's what I mean by a life cycle. Basically, it is in a circle form. So step 1, you craft all the T1s because you need them to generate cheap energy. And then eventually, you craft those superior quality items, which you'll be feel sad as a dilemma. Then after that, you get rid of them in the market, so that you can actually prevent from losing millions of dollars. That the king will set an eye on a single T1 item that pay you a few $100s, instead of pay you about $4 or $5 million. Alright, so after the king left, go back to crafting. So that's the life cycle I'm talking about. Of course, would this life cycle continues? No. Why? Because there's an inventory limit. So you can see at the right hand side after this screen, there'll be a limit, basically your trunks. Those trunks, you need to have good trunks, big trunks, and so you can see me having 564. That's my limit. Once I hit the limit, I couldn't carry on this life cycle. I'll go back to my routine of crafting rune stones. But meanwhile, I just want to continue to do this until I fulfill near to the maximum of the trunk limit, but never hit the maximum, because otherwise you have a problem moving stuff because you get so restricted. So now I'm not going to be so-called unreasonable. I'll try to get rid of the items at a real fast and cheap way. So later on I will set the price as really low. This memento, you gotta make sure that you're selling them for good price, because this memento is a sub-component item. Okay, so any items there is a sub-component, and for example the sub-component items require a superior quality before they can craft the higher T8 or T9 items, they'll be really good to sell, because just like memento is one of them. If you have memento as superior quality, you can by all means sell it at 10 times the base price. People will snap it up because they need that item and they couldn't get it because they wouldn't want to ascend the memento. But for me, I know it's a sub-component items, and when I was crafting that main item, I ascended memento, so I could basically get a lot of them at superior quality. So you gotta take note of this. Along the way the game, you get to know. And of course Gladius is another one. Alright, so Gladius is the one that you can make a lot of money in the market, especially at the first early stage of your game, because Gladius can be speculated from a few $100s to a few $1,000s, basically 10 times, and you can keep on doing that, and it can earn you probably hundreds of thousands. But if you say that, for me right now, I wouldn't do that, because I'm trying to earn millions, so hundreds of thousands, those effort is not well paid off. What I'm currently doing is basically using money to hunt for those so-called higher quality items in the market that are of the highest legendary quality using cash, and going to convert them to gems. And of course the other way around, which is to buy those good deals using gems and convert to cash. So it's a bit of hunting. Alright, so now I'm going to show you, I'm going to sell them at of course, except for Memento, the rest I'm going to sell it at really cheap prices. So you can imagine that how much you can get even from an epic T1 is only 2,000. So you can see me selling those gladiators at really cheap prices just to get rid of them. You can see here, I'm not going to bother with selling those $90 item for $900. Going to sell it really cheap. So that's what I meant. If you want to get rid of them at dirt cheap prices, and they'll fly off the shelf. So you can get back your precious market slots. Alright, so really don't bother to get a reasonable price. You can see there they're flying off the shelf really fast, and we got tons and tons of them, because when you generate, they comes in batch and loads and lots. So just want to get rid of all this T1 items that is actually wasting my precious market slots that I used to sell hundreds of thousands of dollars. But of course, they give me some fun too. I mean, in Shop Titans, if you're not into crafting, then probably into speculation. So for me, I really like crafting. I mean, the joy of crafting items and the surprise of receiving different quality items is one way to experience Shop Titans joy. And of course, hunting for the market for a prize item at the cheap prices and then reselling it and getting a great profit is another way to find joy. And of course, now I find joy in converting gems to cash and cash back to gems, and try to grow my wealth and gems quantity using this method is another way of joy. So there are various joys in playing Shop Titans, and of course the most precious joy, I must say, is when I post the video up into YouTube and I got comments from friends who basically share me things that I do not know, and I will wish to try them out. Eventually I'm able to share back with you. So that is my life cycle, a life cycle of a YouTuber that wishes to just share and learn from everybody. I'm not into pursuing anything but just sharing and having fun together while playing a game. So that's me. I really hope you like it. If you like and you wish to subscribe, by all means. If you do not wish to subscribe, that's perfectly fine with me, because I just want you to drop me your comments and teach me things. And of course, if I could, I will experiment with it and share with everybody, so everybody will enjoy this game further. And that's my objective. That's all. Alright, so I really hope you enjoy it while I share with you things. And you can see me having now 6 superior mementos. Alright, of course, now let's wait for the moment we're waiting for, which is the arrival of the king, who will give us some good profits, and soon he will arrive. And before that, really hope to thank you again for watching this video. Goodbye.